The chandeliers of Versailles sparkle like captured stars. Perfume and laughter fill the halls. Silk rustles, gold glitters. For a moment, France feels eternal. Too rich, too radiant, too blind to burn. And at the center of it all stands a queen history would not forgive. Marie Antoinette, a girl from Austria who became the face of France's glory and its downfall. She was just 14 when she left Vienna, a pawn in a royal marriage, waving goodbye to her childhood and stepping into a kingdom that would one day devour her. The people of France wanted a symbol of beauty and grace. The court demanded obedience. The king wanted peace. And what did she want? Just to belong. But Versailles wasn't a home. It was a gilded cage wrapped in silk. Every smile hid a dagger. Every dance was politics in disguise. Every whispered compliment was a test. Trapped in this labyrinth of etiquette and expectation, Marie Antoinette did what any of us might do. She built a world of her own. Welcome to the Petit Trianon. Here, away from the prying eyes of the court, she created a fantasy, a small world of music, gardens, and the illusion of freedom. It was her escape, a place where she could breathe. To her friends, she was radiant, a beacon of light in a stuffy, formal world. To her critics, she was reckless, frivolous, and dangerously out of touch. And in the grimy streets of Paris, where children cried from hunger, whispers began to coil like smoke. She spends while we starve. The gap between the palace and the people was growing into a chasm. In Paris, the bakeries were empty. The price of bread, the staple of every French family, soared beyond reach. Taxes crushed the poor while the nobility lived in obscene luxury. But the popular papers, the pamphlets passed from hand to hand, didn't show the famine. They showed her diamonds, her elaborate gowns, her towering powdered hair, her laughter echoing from a life lived above the clouds. And then came the infamous line, "Let them eat cake." It's the phrase that has defined her for centuries. But did she ever actually say it? Historians widely agree she did not. It was a piece of propaganda, a lie so powerful it became her legacy. But in a kingdom simmering with resentment, rumor is stronger than truth. Her name, once a symbol of royal grace, was now spat with venom. It became shorthand for arrogance, for a monarchy deaf to the cries of its people. The streets of Paris began to chant it with hate. The storm, long gathering on the horizon, finally broke. The French Revolution ignited. An angry mob, thousands strong, marched on Versailles. They weren't just demanding bread anymore, they were demanding justice. They flooded the palace courtyard, a sea of torches and rage. Imagine the scene. Marie Antoinette, with King Louis XIV and their children, steps onto the balcony. Below her, a wave of fury. Above her, the heavens watch in silence. The crowd screams for her. Alone, she steps forward. There is no pleading, no fear in her eyes. She simply bows her head, not in surrender, but with a quiet, unshakable dignity. For a moment, the mob is stunned into silence. But it's only a moment. The palace fell. The crown crumbled. The royal family was taken from their golden world and dragged to Paris, now prisoners of their own people. The golden halls of Versailles were replaced by the gray, cold walls of a prison cell. The queen's life of unimaginable luxury shrank to a single, stark room. Her children, her one true source of joy, were torn from her arms. Her husband, King Louis XV, was tried and executed. They no longer called her Your Majesty. They called her Widow Capet, stripping her of her title, her identity, her dignity. But even in these darkest hours, she refused to be broken. By candlelight, she wrote letters, her words trembling not with self-pity, but with sorrow and a strength that baffled her captors. Even in chains, she carried herself like a queen. Her final trial was a sham, the verdict a foregone conclusion. They accused her of everything from bankrupting the nation to unspeakable crimes against her own son. She defended herself with a poise that silenced the courtroom, but it wasn't a trial, it was a ritual sacrifice. October 16th, 1793. A cold, damp morning. The streets of Paris are packed, the crowds roaring for blood. The Queen of France, the woman who once defined fashion for all of Europe, is paraded through the city in an open cart, her hands bound behind her. She wears a simple, torn, white gown. No crown, no jewels, no royal guards, just the jeers of the crowd and a deafening silence from the sky. She climbs the steps of the scaffold. As she does, she accidentally steps on her executioner's foot. Her final words, spoken not to the crowd or to God but to the man about to end her life, are a quiet apology. "Pardon me, sir, I did not mean to do it." Then the blade fell, and with it centuries of the French monarchy. So who was Marie Antoinette? The heartless monster of propaganda? The frivolous airhead of legend? Or was she something more? A young girl thrown into a political snake pit? A mother who loved her children fiercely? A symbol of a world too beautiful and too broken to survive its own illusion. They killed the queen, but they could not kill her story. It still echoes through the halls of Versailles, through every mirror that once reflected her fleeting light, reminding us that history is rarely as simple as a single story. She was born to dazzle the world and died in its rage. If Marie Antoinette's rise and fall moved you, subscribe to our channel. Join us as we uncover the stories of more queens who stood on the edge of history and never looked away. Thank you for watching.